Hello YouTube, it is Hagbones, coach of your Vancouver Kyogres, and today is my draft analysis for the Token Minority Summer Showdown draft format. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of a hoo-ha about what Pokemon I've chosen and what they can do, but I'll give you a quick rundown of what we drafted. So we had third overall draft, and we ended up picking Tapu Koko, which is arguably probably one of the best best Pokemon in draft format. This thing's like a Swiss Army knife. It gets everything. It gets the setup, it gets agility, calm mind, and it gets workup. And it gets its really good coverage moves. It gets Brave Bird, Acrobatics. It can defog. You get Grass Knot, Iron Head, can set up screens. It's got Priority. It's got Recovery. It's got Roost. You can taunt, so you can stop. Status and whatnot. And it's got both a U-turn and Volt Switch, which is amazing. I mean, it gets Fly, so something like that. You can. It's even got Iron Defense. It's got so much that it's arguably one of the best Pokemon in the draft format, and that's why I chose Tapu Koko. I'm surprised it even got to the third round. Our second pick was Mega Pinsir. Now, Mega Pinsir is kind of like a one-way type of Pokemon. You literally just set up a sword dance and you pick your moves. But it gets a couple different types of things. It gets bulk up and it gets sword dance, which is pretty good. It gets body slam for our aerialate, which turns our normal moves into flying moves and gives it a 1.2 times boost. It gets lots of good coverage moves. It gets close combat, earthquake. It gets knockoff, rock slide. It can set up rocks, stone edge, stab X scissor. Not a whole lot. I mean, it knows dig, but I don't know how much we'd use dig. You can set up iron dances. Other than that, I mean, there's not a whole bunch left of Mega Pinsir other than the fact that it also gets Quick Attack too, which also turns itself into a flying move, which is pretty nice. The third Mon we picked was, I wanted to make sure that I picked something that was going to compensate Tapu Koko's weaknesses, which is ground and poison. So we ended up going with Bronzong. Bronzong is really good typing. It gets Levitate as an ability. This thing, once again, another setup mon. It can use Calm Mind. It gets Earthquake. You can Explode. It gets Grass Knot. Jar Ball, probably one of the hardest hitting moves. Under Trick Room, or it hits really hard, and it gets set up screens. Rock Slide, Shadow Ball. It sets up rocks, which is probably one of our best stealth rockers we've drafted. One of the best. Toxic, Trick Room, which is really good for our team. You're gonna find out as we go on. Gets Gravity, which is pretty cool. So if we wanted to run Gravity Earthquake, we can bring down Levitate Pokemon or flying Pokemon and hit them with Earthquakes. Gets Rock Tomb. Nothing a whole lot. Mostly is to set up Stealth Rocks, Toxic Mons, and then maybe put a couple of different things. You can run Light Screen and Reflect. You can run dual screens. And our next Pokemon we picked was I wanted to complete our Fairy Steel Dragon course, so we went with Hydreigon. Hydreigon does a lot of really cool things. It's mostly good as a Scarfer. It's really good Scarfer, and you could even throw specs on it, Life Orb. If you want to be more bulkier, it's got really good defenses actually. It's got 92 HP with 90s in both defenses, and that's pretty bulky. So you can throw leftovers on it because it does get roost. But this thing gets a lot of great coverage moves. With gets crunch and dark pulse or not, but it gets, you can defog. You get earth power and earthquake, fire blast, fire fang, flamethrower, flash cannon, focus blast, head smash, heat wave. You can make it, you can use it as physical as much as you can do as special. It gets recovery as Roost, it gets Signal Beam, Stone Edge, Superpower, Surf, Tailwind, Taunt. You can do Thunder Wave and Toxic. It's a good pivot. It's got U-turn. Other than that, that's probably about it with Hydreigon. You can use it in a bunch of different ways, but it's very good. It's a very good Scarfer. So our next Mon we decided to go with a more specially bulky Mon, just so we can sponge a bit more of the special hits. Bronzong does that, but this one allows us to recover a bit better. We picked Jellicent. Jellicent has a lot of really cool things. It's got water absorb, so it we can sponge water hits like it takes no damage. We actually receive HP from getting hit with water moves. It's really good Mon. It's got you can put leftovers on it. You could put a Super Berry on it. It gets a lot of good recovery or good coverage moves. It gets Energy Ball and Giga Drain. Gets Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse. This one gets Will-O-Wisp. It gets Will-O-Wisp, and you can, when you burn or get status an opponent, you can hit it with Hex, and it doubles the power if it's statused. So that's really cool tech. It gets Magic Coat, which probably wouldn't be broad, but you never know. It bounces status or hazards back at their opponents. Gets Pain Split, which is not great. Recover is a lot better than Pain Split because it's a more reliable recovery move. Scald Burns, Stab Shadow Ball. You get Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave. A sub set would be really cool. Sub Trick Room with you can stick a Life Orb on it as well if you want to make it more offensive. Gets Taunt, Toxic, Trick Room, Water Spout, and that would be pretty good. You could do either Trick Room or a Choice Scarf, Water Spout. You can set up, you get Acid Armor. Icy Wind, Ominous Wind. That's about it for Jellicent. Other than that, it's just a good special sponge. Our next pick was I needed a ground type, so we went with Donphan. Now Donphan is arguably probably one of the best Stealth Rock Rapid Spin Mons in the format, or just in general, to be honest. It's got this sturdy ability, so you're always guaranteed to get rocks up. This thing has really good stats with 90 HP and 120 defense. It can be a really good physical wall. It also has 120 attack, so it can hit like a truck as well. But than that, it gets it's most only for their stealth rocks. It gets, Earthquake. I think it gets all the elemental fang, so it gets Fire Fang, Gunk Shot, Gyro Ball, Head Smash. Ice Shard for priority, knockoff, play rough, poison jab. There's the rapid spin right here. You can phase out with roar. you can throw up stealth rocks and then phase out with roar and just take more stealth rock damage. You can make a cool weakness policy rock polish set. It's rock slide, seed bomb, stone edge, superpower, bounce. I've never even knew that Donphan got bounce. You can set with curse. It'd be good with like a super berry curse, and yeah, that's about it for Donphan. Yeah, I guess Thunder Fang. It doesn't get Ice Fang though, I don't think. No. Our next pick, I wanted to get a fire type, and probably one of the most one of the mons that gets probably the most use out of Arcanine. Now Arcanine does a lot of great things. It does everything. It can be a special wall, it can be a physical wall, it can be a physical attacker and a special attacker. It literally is one mon and you can do anything with it. You can run agility, you can even with the items, you can run choice scarf, choice band, leftovers, rocky helmet, super berry, you name it. It's got great abilities that intimidate, flash fire, and justified. Probably used intimidate the most though, but it gets a lot of good moves. It gets close combat, crunch, extreme speed, fire blast, fire fang, flame charge, flamethrower, fire blitz, all those fire moves. It gets good recovery with morning sun, outrage, good coverage move, phase out with roar, sub toxic, wild charge, will-o-wisp. It's got a cool move right here. It's called burn up. It's 130 base special attack, and the user's fire type becomes typeless, must be fire. So after we've used burn up, we can turn to a normal type, and I think that's a pretty cool feature, and it could throw a lot of teams off. You can trap people with fire spin, so like a fire spin toxic. Actually, I never even thought about that until right now. So a fire spin toxic, that would be pretty cool. It's kind of like whirlpool toxic on Azumarill. Iron Tail for rock types. Gets Solar Beam, so in a sunny day set. And it gets Thunder Fang, which could be really useful if we're really needing it for a water type. So that's about it for Arcanine, or Arcanine, or however you want to pronounce it. It also gets priority and extreme speed, which is really awesome. Just a really overall great Pokemon to have on your team. And our next mon we picked, our last one, I wasn't really too sure because we only had 90 points to pick out of our for our team, and I really I needed a grass type. The more Pokemon to help Coco and Arcanine, our team was pretty, I wouldn't say weak to ground, but whenever I'm drafting, I kind of get scared of ground types. And so we went with Servine. Servine only had like 2 points left, so it was really like I had to really pick a low tier Pokemon. And Servine is not that bad with the Eviolite and his defenses. It's not that bad. It gets a 60 HP, which it's not the greatest, but it has 75 defenses on both ends, and it gets a really good ability, Contrary. And what Contrary does is, if this Pokemon has a stat stage raised, it is lowered instead, or vice versa. So if we get intimidated, instead of having our attack go down, it goes up, which is really awesome. This gives me a Cleric and Aromatherapy, so if we're really like against a team that is really stally, or I know it's gonna throw a lot of Toxic or Will-O-Wisp out, we can heal up all our Pokemon with the Aromatherapy. It gets a good setup. It's got Calm Mind and Coil. It has Defog, so we can debug also, as long as it takes out hazards, it also gets rid of screens, which is really helpful. Giga Drain, we got Glare, so we can paralyze basically anything, even electric types. It's got good support move knockoff. Leaf Blade, Leaf Storm. Now Leaf Storm, when it lowers your user's special attack by 2, it actually raises our attack by 2 instead, so that's really helpful. Leech Seed for a really bulky set, gets light screen reflect, so we could do dual screens with our Servine, which might probably not be using most of the time. Behind a sub, could be really good. Sub Calm Mind, Sub Coil. Gets Taunt, Toxic. After all that, Servine's pretty, down here, it gets pretty useless. Doesn't get a whole lot after that. But, yeah, that's our team for our draft. And, if you think that we will go far in the tournament, maybe we can subscribe to the channel and leave a like, and hopefully we come out on top. There's like over 500 people in this tournament, and it's absolutely insane. So I hope to bring you some great battles, and yeah. I'll see you guys later. See ya.